Alright guys, so I have created two more directories, but there is absolutely nothing in them. The dogs, because they're always making my life miserable. And another file that I got, which we are not going to need right now, it will be just for the file operations chapter. First command, I'm going to do 3. And this is the big giant list that we have here. And another way to look at this list would be 3 more, and then you can look at it per page. Okay, same thing, PG, exact same way. By the way, there's more PG, less commands have a lot more options, but you're gonna have to explore them on your own. It's pretty simple stuff, and if I cover everything, this is going to be way long, so I'm just going to cover things that you're going to need to get started. Alright, so first thing first, I have found out this long path where I have some, okay, Control U, remove all that, and this is the path where one set of files that I want to work on are, while the other set of files are on this path. Okay, so both of them are pretty long paths, and if we wanted to go back to the previous directory, we're gonna have to do dot 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 or paste the whole thing. But bash, as awesome it is, it has a simple shortcut cd dash, and it'll take you right back to the directory that you were in. Okay, once again you want to come back, cd dot. So this is a very helpful command. There is one more thing that we can use, and it's called CDPATH. If you guys want to explore on your own, it gets very confusing for me, and that's why I never use it, but it's a pretty neat thing to use. Okay, so that is that. Now I'm gonna go to this directory, which I have handpicked. Alright, so far you guys have seen ls minus L. It gives us a total of 9 columns, and the only thing we have really talked about is the date column, but just before the date there is a size column. So when we are looking at the size, this 4096754 doesn't really make a whole lot of sense. Actually, let me open something on my machine. Okay, so this is one of the directories on my machine. And as you can see, this column here, it is the sizes of the files and directories, and it doesn't look very friendly. So for all these commands that display sizes, well, we haven't really talked about the others, but -h is the switch that we use to display the sizes in bytes, kilobytes, and megabytes. So makes it very easy to read it. Okay, so the next command that we're looking at is ls minus d, and if you look at that, it's just showing us a dot, and it's showing a dot because it's showing the properties of the current directory. So if we do it lengthwise, it shows the properties of the directory that you're in. An obvious question is, why the heck would I need it? And this question, you would have so many places using bash, but then you keep using it, and all of a sudden it makes sense. Hey, that's where I could have used it. Okay, ls minus L. So you guys are seeing there is so much stuff on the screen, and all I want to do is find one file. So if I just want to see the list of files, what I can do is ls minus 1. It's not L, it's ls minus 1. And if you do that, you get the sorted output of all the files in one column. Okay, now the next thing we can do is, sometimes you need to provide this whole list as an array, and I'm going to create an example where you'd see that. But you can get the list of these files in a comma separated string by using ls minus m. I cannot tell you guys how many times this has come in handy while before, when I didn't know these switches. It was like generating this from that list of files is extremely painful. So these are the kind of shortcuts and things are everywhere in bash, but the only problem is they are not straightforward. Like, you cannot guess in your wildest dreams that ls minus m is going to give you a comma separated list. Let's go back to our screen here. All right, so I have 5 files here. Another directory. I'm gonna pause and create some more directories. Alright guys, I created lots and lots of files, and like as you can see, there is so many files that you're not really interested in. Let's say you just want to look at the YML files or the .sh files. So to do that, star YML, and that gives you just the YML files. Now let's say you want to look at multiple extensions, and to do that we can list however and whichever wildcard list we have, and this is how you get the list of all HTML and YML files. Okay, and we can do the exact same thing the other way around. Let's say we want to see all files but these red rar files. So for that, you're going to do ls minus I and then star dot or star rar. Okay, and once again, if you want to see it in white format, ls minus l, and you don't see the .rar files. Hey guys, so I'm adding this in the middle, but the example that I had here for ls minus ld, I didn't really like it, so recorded this afterwards and then putting this in here now. Anyway, so this is the directory structure that I created, and so if I go into dogs and say ls minus l, I see these 3 directories. All right, so in this case, well, it's not going to work anyway. Okay, so ls minus l. So if I have to display the directories and files that start with w, this is what I would try to do. But when I do this, what it does is it's going to do ls wild, ls w seniors, because it's just expanding the whole thing, and then ls wish .txt. But this is not what we want. What we are looking for is we want just the listing of these 3 instead of all of this stuff. And so this is where the ls minus d comes in handy, which displays just the top directory. So ls minus l w star, it's doing basically the ls minus lr, and only if we add d to this, we get the output that we are wanting. And I'm doing basically the same thing with the files starting with ls minus t here to use for the next example. Alright guys, and it will continue from here. Okay, so now looking at these files, if you look at the tf console, tf remote state, and tf vpc basic, those have been modified. The default that gets displayed here is the modification date. Okay, and me just by out of habit, so ls minus ld, this is going to stay constant, and we're going to keep adding more switches here. So ls minus ldt is going to sort this list by modified date. So the 3 directories that were modified on 946 on December 30th, I mean, it's self-explanatory. If you want to reverse the order of listing, all you specify is R, and then it will reverse. The most time that I have executed this command, and I could have made a shortcut for this, but I have just gotten the habit of it. When I say ls, I just automatically type ls minus ltr because of the number of time you're going to use it. And I will show you a few examples, real life examples, where it comes in handy. But I'm basically always interested in the latest 5, 10, whatever number of files that have changed on that machine. All right, so let's get back to our example. Okay, now the second timestamp that a file has is used or access date. So if you want to use that and display that, you have to use the flag -u. And now these dates are basically when was the last time the file got accessed and not when it was modified. Same way, you can use C to see when it was created. All right, looks like I created all of them on the same day. All right, and then once again the same rule. If you want to reverse the sorting order, you add the R. Now I am going to remove the reverse, remove the use, remove the time, okay? And I'm also going to remove the T star. So, well, also the DM. So these are the number of files that we have. Now another very important metric by which you would want to sort your data will be size. So ls minus ls, once again reverse, will give it to you in the reverse way. So these are basically the 4 sort options: created date, modified date, used date, and size. So modified date and size you would use most often, but you will also use the created and used every now and then. All right, so the last option that I want to look at is somewhat irrelevant, but it still helps. These color codes have gone a long way, and basically you don't really need to worry about how these files are getting displayed in ls or any option you take. The raw files are red, the directories are blue, the text files, the normal files are just in black and white. But back in the day when we didn't have all these options, and going to the super user kind of simulates the situation. Basically this terminal doesn't have any color coding, and in this situation if you're looking at these files, there's so many of them, and unless they have an extension you can't tell what file is what. So back in our old days we used to use ls minus f, which would add that slash at the end of all directory names, and this is how we used to tell what's a file and what's a directory. Okay, one more thing that I want to cover about directories or files. Okay, so now pwd, and this is the whole path for that dog.txt. all right, and you would run into situations inside scripts, like usually not on the command line, but inside scripts you will be in a situation where you get a path like this and you have to separate the directory structure from the file, and the command to do that is echo dollar base name and then whichever path you have, and this will give you just the file part, while if you use dir name it'll give you the directory part. And it could also, if you're not using the file, it will be basically just the last piece of that path. So, well, would be removed. So in this case it removed the HTML, and it's going to give us By the way, you guys on Windows, you should be able to use the Alt B and Alt F to navigate between words. Comes in really handy. Alright, so HTML, and I think that should be it. Actually, you guys can try these commands out. They should be in the description, and let them be your exercises. Alright guys, that's it for this lecture. I will see you in the next one.